Look up in the night sky, and somewhere up there is a special Canadian. A Canadian who's had a day so special it will stay with her for the rest of her life. Roberta Bondar became the first Canadian woman in space by blasting off this morning on board the Space Shuttle Discovery. And along with her went the dreams, hopes, and good wishes of thousands of Canadians. CTV's Jim O'Connell is at Cape Canaveral to cover the story for us. Jim, it must have been a great place to be this morning.
Lloyd, it was an incredible experience for all who witnessed it. Many were literally left speechless after the launch. Some were so moved they broke down in tears. As for Roberta Bondar, this was by far the most exciting day of her life, and it showed. Roberta Bondar looked like a champion ready to take on the world, bouncing with excitement all the way into the history books. Her endless smiles said it all.
The prime Canadian payload specialist
for this Canadian scientist, it was the ultimate climax to a lifetime of dreams and years of tireless training. The moment when there's no turning back.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
As the shuttle Discovery pierced the clear Florida sky, Bondar's friends and family watched breathlessly with fingers crossed.
Holy God!
It was a powerful and emotional experience.
For somebody who's worked so hard for so long, all you can say is hooray.
And when it took off, I think my heart was almost stopping. I can't tell you how funny, it was such a peculiar feeling.
One girl in a million.
That's good.
The launch was picture perfect, but not without problems. Liftoff was delayed by an hour as crews scrambled to solve minor technical glitches. But at 9:52, Discovery left all the problems behind, and Roberta Bondar began her long-awaited odyssey in space.
Houston, Space Lab.
We hear you, Roberta.
Okay, I hear you too, 5 by 5.
What she's done is she's had that initial moment of exhilaration where she got out of her seat and she had the chance to float over and look out the window, and that is something that will stay with her all her life.
In barely an hour, the shuttle had already circled the Earth, and Canada's first woman in space wasted no time in beginning the scientific task for which she has trained so diligently.
Roberta right now is living the adventure of adventures. And in 9 months, I hope that I feel the same way, that it's the adventure of all adventures that you could ever possibly have.
Steve MacLean will be the next Canadian to go up on the shuttle in September. With Canada back in space, the government is anxiously trying to recruit a new team of astronauts. And there will certainly be no shortage of applicants, especially after today. Lloyd?
Jim, referring back to those first tense moments at liftoff, was there relief as well as exultation when the spacecraft was well up into the air?
There was a huge collective sigh of relief. I think everybody here had the Challenger disaster on their mind. It doesn't matter about the new safety precautions. People still thought about it because it's exactly the same time of year as the Challenger disaster. There were cold weather temperatures, and we also had some minor technical difficulties. So everybody was very happy when this launch went perfectly.
Well, the crew has been in the air several hours now. Any word on how Roberta Bondar is doing?
She's doing just fine. She had a busy day. She did a 10-hour workday on the shuttle. She's now off shift, which means she can relax. She can do what she wants, maybe have a little bit of sleep, read a book, listen to her CDs, some music, or she can just stare out the window and watch the world go by.
Almost sounds like fun. With a Canadian on board, does NASA have any special plans for Canada?
Well, certainly the experiments are special. One other thing is that this mission is ideal for viewing Canada. It's going to make several passes over the northern country, and Roberta Bondar is going to have a perfect view of it.
And will Canadians be able to see the spacecraft from the ground?
Some will be. Because of the path and the formation, most of the people on the west coast and the east coast will be able to see it. It looks like a satellite if they look closely enough.
Thank you very much, Jim.
You're welcome, Lloyd.
Roberta Bondar isn't the first Canadian in space. That was Mark Garneau. She is the first Canadian woman. So why is that such an event? Well, the truth is that even in this day and age, there aren't many women who fit the bill Bondar fits. The road to science is still paved with male domination. Joy Melbourne visited one school to find out why.
At this Halifax elementary school, they're thrilled to see Canada's first female space traveler blast off. Roberta Bondar has become a hero to these young girls, but despite her example, it's estimated only 4 girls in this class will study science in university.
Some of the men that might be in the class with you might, discourage you by, saying that you couldn't do it because you're a female.
Well, if I get a high mark, they say, you're just a brainiac.
They might not like it because there's gooey stuff and all that you have to touch, and like mealworms. Yeah.
Even at this young age, girls begin to turn off of science, and the reasons are as complex as chemistry. 10 years ago, a national study found girls lose interest in science because of peer pressure, even society stereotypes telling us science is serious stuff, not necessarily for women.
It's as if science isn't an appropriate career for them because it doesn't fit their image of what it means to be female.
Then what does this say? So by the time girls reach high school, science is just another course, not necessarily a career option. Something experts say the country should be worried about. Forecasters predict Canada will be short 30,000 engineers by the turn of the century, and if Canada wants to compete, it better have the tools.
The engineering profession in Canada has 3% women. Employers are desperately searching for bright women coming out of our engineering schools.
While Roberta Bondar is up there in space, down here on Earth, Canada still can't seem to get enough women interested in science. And some experts say it's going to take a national program to break down barriers and steer more women towards science and technology. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Halifax.